for the GLP Interaction 1, um, the meeting I chose to go to was put on by the Jewish Student Union. It was called Green Israel, and it was to learn about the distributions of resources within the region. It focused primarily on water distribution and how the different ways that people in the region deal with the drier climate and the limited amount of water, which is definitely something I don't have to, worry about on a daily basis living in Michigan and being surrounded by so much fresh water. Um, it was put on by Mark Axelrod, who is a professor in the James Madison College and is in the Fisheries and Wildlife Department. He pretty much discussed that there were two main um, ideologies surrounding how people interact with nature in the region, both of which are religious in base, focusing on Genesis. So there's a creation story saying that the earth is primarily here to as our resource to use, and then later in chapter 2 it says that we need to till to it. So a lot of times people only focus on the first reading, um, and kind of just use resources to their advantage and don't focus on resupplying them, which is different. We have this in my culture. We have this green approach, and everything we reduce, reuse, recycle, and all this stuff. And uh, later in the meeting, we talked about how what is the ideology of people in the region? Do they want like a greener lifestyle or do they not? And one of the group leaders, Jake, who I didn't get his last name, he was discussing that there's a lot of trash lying around, and that kind of reminded me of like the '60s in the U.S. where people would throw trash out their window, and maybe they didn't even just care. But he told me that there was another reason underneath it that I didn't know of, which was that people have actually triggered explosive devices from picking up said trash. Like rummaging around, and like that's something I would totally never think of. And that was a total culture shock. Like that's a real issue that these people have to live with on a daily basis, um, which is completely different from my culture. So how did I participate in the meeting? Well, I talked to Mark because I didn't understand the whole border dispute within the region, and I was like, I need some background information, like what caused this. So the UN pretty much declared Israeli as a religious region. So if you're living within this region, it is assumed that you are a part of the Jewish faith. But there's also other religions within this region, and that's why it's such a highly disputed thing. Is I'm Palestinian, but I have to abide by Israeli regime. That's kind of the root of the issue. So mainly, I did discuss things with Mark within the group, and also the group leaders who told me about all the different events they have on campus and hikes, places to celebrate religious holidays, and things of that nature. So it was really cool, and it seems like a very active group on campus, and definitely was very eye opening for me, with the culture I live in and also the cultures around the world and the big differences and things that I would judge almost by their surface content, but there's a lot of times like a lot deeper meaning to them. Um, so thanks.